Welcome back, James.
Thank you.
Okay. So let me see now. So we did B12, vitamin D, and then what's your take on iodine? Do you try to add some sea vegetables? Do you think it's important? You use iodized salt?
Yeah. So I eat sushi probably once a week.
Okay.
But that's about it. Funny enough, we were just talking about this probably about 2 hours ago. It's occurred to me maybe we should ask Lily's mom in the States to post us some iodized salt. I don't know, because I'm trying to cut back on my sushi habits, mainly to save a bit of money.
Yeah.
I don't know, but yeah, my answer to that is I'm still working on a proper solution to that one.
Gotcha. All right. And then how about water? What's your thing with water? Do you try to drink a certain amount, or do you just drink when you're thirsty?
Yeah, I found great benefits in drinking more water. I don't do as well as I could do. Lily does a lot better than me. She has this special bottle which has like an airtight lid. She puts lemons in there. She's very organized, whereas I'll kind of just be filling up cups and forgetting about them. But I do find genuinely the more water I drink, the better I feel.
Okay.
I find.
Yeah, I'm kind of losing you a little bit. I'm sorry, but all right. And then how about sleep? Do you try to get to bed early? Do you try to get 8 hours of sleep? Do you think that's relevant?
Yeah, I try to get 8 hours sleep. I'm a lifelong insomniac. I think it's because I have a busy mind. I can often wake up at 2 o'clock in the morning and then be thinking about things until 5 a.m. or something. I'm working on my sleep. It helps me to get to bed earlier because often I do have a tendency to wake up early. But yeah, I haven't quite fixed that problem yet.
Yeah, that's me too. I tend to go to bed late, and I kind of wake up early. So yeah. Anyway, all right. So let me touch on two issues which you've kind of indirectly referenced, and maybe you can tell me a little bit more about what you've learned, or maybe some facts you could share with the viewer. The first being ethical treatment of animals. So what did you learn along the way that kind of surprised you about what's being done to animals?
I think two things spring to mind straight away. One is free-range eggs. I used to be always very pleased with myself for buying free-range eggs. Yeah. They have a picture on the carton of some chickens wandering around a field, like this beautiful English meadow, and it never occurred to me like how big must this meadow be? It must be like 5,000 acres or something for these chickens to kind of I don't know what I used to scowl at people in the supermarket buying the battery eggs. Like, don't you know the chickens in their meadow, they're much happier if you buy the free range. So yeah, it was a shock to find out that's still very far from the reality.
That is such an excellent point, James.
Another one, I guess cows.
Yeah.
Anything to do with cows. I mean, my mum lives in Wales. There are lots of cows around here, and I always thought it was kind of nice and idyllic. And now I think, like, hang on a second, how far, like, these cows, like, where are all the boy cows? Like, how old do these cows live before they're shipped off? Like, what kind of social structure can that have? Like, I mean, I think if my dog had to live in a single field, he'd get bored so fast. And these cows, they're intelligent. And there's 50 of them in a field. They can walk around a bit, but surely this isn't what nature intended. And the whole process for cows was a shock to me.
Yeah.
I think it was never something I thought about that much. And I know, for example, what happens to the boy cows. That never really.
Yeah, and like what has been brought to my attention lately, with these chickens, they only want to save the hens, so they throw these little baby male chicks into these grinders. That's pretty nasty. It's pretty vile.
Yeah, I know. It's really
and then
it's something else.
And then put those grindings into feed and feed the animal. That's pretty evil. That's pretty gross.
It's an extremely it vibrates at a low frequency. I think I think this is something we have to kind of move away from as a species. This kind of this kind of thing makes Marquis de Sade seem like a children's TV show. It's just
yeah. It's so foreign. You can't really. It's hard to believe that it goes on. It's so inhuman. Yeah.
Yeah, it's unbelievable the things which we impose without even thinking about it.
Yeah, and I love this point you make. You see the picture on the box, the carton of eggs, a picture of a field. And it's like that with the milk. You see the picture of the cows on this grassy field, and it's amazing how powerful marketing and images are. I don't know if you ever saw these in the UK, but in the United States we used to have these McDonald's, these McDonald's locations, and they'd have these sections where you could sit, and they had this whole kind of mythology behind McDonald's products with the Ronald McDonald the clown in this kind of Wizard of Oz-like land where apple pies grow on bushes and French fries grow on bushes and hamburgers grow on trees.
Yeah.
And that's just amazing to me. It's like a total whitewashing of what's really going on. Why don't you go ahead and post on the walls a couple of shots of these cows getting zapped by some dude who really doesn't care in a dark,
Yeah, it's completely far out. I remember that McDonald's used to have this campaign for chicken nuggets. The chicken nuggets were kind of characters, and they would bounce around and jump out of aeroplanes. And I think this is like a mutilated, mashed up bit of a bird, caked in breadcrumbs, which now has a personality.
Exactly, man. It's like crazy. It's crazy, man.
Mm.
All right, so and then a whole nother huge topic, which I bet you have some interesting facts for us. What did you learn along the way about the damage that's caused to the environment from this animal-based industry?
Yeah, I mean this whole thing. I think it doesn't take. I think you don't even need to go into facts and figures. If you just think about it for 2 seconds, think about where all this meat that's being consumed. I'm with my mom now. She eats meat every single meal, and I think to myself, this meat has to come from somewhere. These cows have to live somewhere else. You don't really need to do the math to think there's this going on. Just decimating the planet's resources. Of course, I recently watched Cowspiracy.
I want to see that. I hear that's good. Yeah.
Yeah, it's got some amazing facts about water consumption and but it's also made me think about being vegan has also made me think more about other kinds of waste. The fact that virtually everything we buy, we have this situation where we buy, say, a tin of beans, eat the beans, put the tin in the bin, and that tin is just instantly converted into something we're never going to use again. And our species is just like grinding the entire planet up and making it into mushy waste, putting it in the ground. It's quite a disturbing thought.
It's not very forward thinking, is it? No.
No.
Wow. Yeah. So, okay. One thing that just popped in my mind that I'd like to hear your thoughts on. You mentioned you're at your mom's. She still eats meat. So you've been doing this for a while, and you've had a few times in your life where you were also vegetarian, where you can run into similar issues. What do you do in terms of eating out, hanging out with friends, family? Who do you feel like you can share this knowledge that you now have with? And maybe you can talk a little bit about your channel, The Violent Vegan. So where that came from, and does that have anything to do with the way you share this information?
Yeah, it's a really, really difficult one, and I'm still working out what to do. My mom this visit has largely kind of avoided the topic. Last time we got into an argument about my mom's viewpoint is that it's this thing about if we didn't eat animals, then what would the animals wouldn't exist in the first place. So we're kind of doing them a favor. The idea that the very existence of a species has to be kind of predicated upon the fact that its dead body tastes good to us. Argument.
Slaughter. Yeah.
Yeah. So I think my mom thinks it's kind of like a quaint sort of a quaint kind of phase.
You're gonna grow out of it. You're gonna grow out of it, James. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, exactly. I think that's a lot of my family are very kind of adherent to the status quo. They like a good dose of normality.
And would you say that the medical, I imagine this is the case, but I'll just ask you from your personal experience, would you say that the medical establishment in Great Britain is very similar to the United States in that its default is not diet and nutrition as a way to treat illness, but rather medication, surgery, kind of everything else other than diet?
Yeah, exactly. I think when I had a few years ago, for example, I had an infection of the fungal variety in a very embarrassing place. Okay. And I remember my doctor saying, think about your diet. Maybe eat brown bread instead of white bread. That kind of. I think.
Well, that's surprising.
The medical establishment here is more about try to eat brown bread instead of white bread. Try to eat an extra portion of greens with your dinner. Walk to the office instead of take the car.
Yeah.
That kind of thing. I think we're not quite as big on medicine as you guys yet. When I visit the States, I know we have these big long adverts for various medicines, and we're not quite there yet. But I think we're heading that way.
Those ads are pretty comical, aren't they? They spend about a minute at the end of the ad saying all the negative things that this will cause. It's pretty amazing.
I know. Yeah, I know. May cause vomiting, bleeding of the eyeballs, sudden death. Yeah.
I mean, why would you? I mean, you may as well just have the disease. I mean, the medication is worse than the disease.
Yeah. It's I quite it's one of the things I enjoy most about the States. I think you get a guilty pleasure watching these adverts.
All right, so James, tell us a little bit about tell us the name of your channel and perhaps website if you have one. Any books you'd like to refer the viewers to? Because I know you're your YouTube channel is ViolentVegan.
Yeah. It started off just as a kind of an outlet for me, for my music. I say music is basically me kind of hitting a guitar violently and croaking. But I'm trying to do my bit to kind of in kind of altering the status quo. I'm trying to make more vegan videos, more videos about kind of deparametered lateral thinking.
Yeah,
I'd like to.
I like that about your channel. It's like it's very different. There's a cool vibe there. It's very unique, kind of a little off the wall. I like it.
Yeah, I want to put some work into that. I'm trying to make 3 videos a week. Hopefully, yeah. By the time this video goes up, maybe there'll be another one.
You know, I think comedy and music are 2 powerful ways to further this message. So if you write songs and music, man, I think that could be huge. You know, and the comedy is so powerful. You know,
yes.
The sarcasm and anyway. Well, let me ask you.
Yes, thanks.
Go ahead. Go ahead.
Yes, I'm just. Thanks for your feedback. I appreciate the motivation.
Oh yeah.
I'm really going to spend some time getting to a place I want to be.
Absolutely. Yeah. So, in general, if you were, let's say you're talking to a person who's eaten traditionally for a long time and they've decided to go vegan, what would be some general tips you would give them?
Okay, yes. My number 1 tip, absolutely, what worked for me, I think, what gave me the courage to switch over is a simple thing. I didn't switch over straight away. I made a list. I sat down with Lily in a pub and wrote a list of all the things which I could eat, all the dishes. So I'd write, say, I don't know, beans on toast. Yeah, that's one. And I think vegetable casserole. That's another one. That's 2 meals. Cornflakes with rice milk. That's I made this list, and this list got longer and longer and longer. And we eventually bought a cookbook. I added some things, and I thought to myself, you know what? I can have stuff in. I think a situation where there's nothing in the cupboard, and I think that there were times when the brain would just take over. Especially in the beginning, the brain will just take over and say, you know what? You're screwing this up. You need to get calories. Go back to what you ate before, and then people will kind of will fail.
I love
that,
this.
and
I love this. This is a great idea. Make a list of everything that you can eat. I like that. That's good.
Yeah, it's really worked for me, and it encouraged me to kind of think a bit beyond the box, a bit outside the box. I should have brought the list for you now, because I really started to stretch myself. So yeah, and it was then I discovered seitan. That was a great transitional food.
Ah, okay, yeah, yeah, and you know, I'm kind of sorry, we're kind of losing each other here, but and you mentioned the corn earlier. You know, I know that like corn and perhaps seitan and tofurkey and these things, they're not, we wouldn't call them ideal foods, but they're really good if you're transitioning and you want to have that kind of feel or texture of meat and you're missing that. They're useful, yeah.
Definitely. It's a real thing, this kind of craving. I think cheese replacements are great. Nutritional yeast, cheese sauce, that really got me through some hard times at the beginning.
Yeah, I love that. Very practical. Yeah. I like that. And what else was I going to ask? Anyway, and then were there some other tips you were about to mention? I kind of broke in on you there.
Yes. I know you hear this all the time, but it's worth mentioning. Maybe get enough calories. I think it's so easy to it's so easy to go for the kind of standard meal that you had before, except without the cheese sauce or without the meat or whatever. And then you'll just feel kind of crappy and weak, and you'll think, my body is craving for meat, and in actual fact, you're just not getting enough food in.
Yeah, it's so true. The psychology, you'll find any way to work around. Yeah. And on this caloric intake thing, what's your take on raw cooked? Do you try to eat a lot of fresh fruit and greens, or are you not too worried about that? What's your take on that?
I do try to eat a lot of fresh fruit and greens. For both Lily and I, our diet now is kind of a hybrid of it's kind of a brand X, high carb, little bit of raw. We don't do specific time deadlines or cutoffs. Like I sometimes have a smoothie before bed and nothing bad's happened, or I've sometimes had porridge in the morning and nothing bad's happened.
Right. I like it.
I tend to, just like with kind of spirituality or anything, I take the bits I like. Like I like the massive smoothies, for example. They really agree with me.
Yeah.
But I also like the high starch kind of. I can put noodles and polenta and potatoes in the same dish with with some romaine lettuce, and that'll be like a really satisfying starch dinner.
That sounds kind of good. I have to try it. That sounds good, man.
Oh yeah. It's fantastic.
Just mix it all up. That's cool.
Yeah. I find romaine lettuce is so good. I just throw it in starch plus romaine lettuce, throw it in the end. I can knock it together in 5 minutes.
Romaine, it seems to be the best, the most easily, it tastes the best for the greens, I think. Yeah.
Yeah, and on Chronometer, romaine lettuce, it just smashes all the nutrients.
That's interesting. Yeah.
In fact, I think what's the other lettuce? Cos lettuce is also good. I think anything apart from iceberg lettuce.
Well, it's funny you say that. I saw something on this the other day, and the author was suggesting that iceberg has kind of gotten a bad rap because it does have some nutrients. It's definitely not like romaine, but it does have some other nutrients, so it's maybe not as bad as we thought. But
yeah, somebody told me the same thing the other day, actually. Exactly that. Yeah, so I apologize, iceberg lettuce. It's definitely not a bad thing.
It's funny because I can remember when I was a kid. I'm pretty sure in the U.S. markets, that's all you had. You had these rows of these perfect round globes of iceberg lettuce, cellophane wrapped, and it's kind of unreal, It's very strange.
That tradition's still alive and well here.
Okay, one thing that I did want to ask you, James, I remembered is, can you characterize for us what happened with your health when you finally went vegan full throttle? Did you see some weight loss, and did you see any other improvements in your health?
Well, from the moment I went vegan, I instantly started losing a lot of weight. I lost, hang on, I'm just going to have to do a translation there. How much is 1.5 stone in pounds? 13, 14, 16? Maybe 16 pounds.
Okay.
I drastically, over just a couple of months. I think it was because I was smashing in so much cheese, chocolate. Cutting that out instantly, my weight fell off. I did kind of regain it, but I like to think it's come back in muscle because I don't have the same kind of body shape as I did.
And Lily's not complaining.
No. Especially when I come back from a run, I stand in front of the mirror like for 15 minutes. Like, I think I can see the six pack. I think it's coming. But
I love it, man. I love it.
Yeah. If you'd have spoke to me 2 days ago, I would have said I haven't had a cold in the last, I think, 8.5 months. But I feel like I've got a bit of a cold coming now. I think it's because I got a tattoo last Saturday, and I think it's kind of weakened my immune system a bit.
James, I was so pissed because I've been vegan now. It's almost a year, and this was the first year I was pretty clean with my diet, and I got a cold in late spring, and I couldn't frickin' believe it. I was so pissed off. Probably.
Oh man.
I still do drink some alcohol, and I think I drank one night, and that kind of initiated it. You mentioned a pub. What's your take on a beer or a glass of wine?
I've really, interestingly, I don't know if it's conversion to Whole Foods or what. I've really lost my taste for alcohol. I mean, I still have the occasional. I haven't officially quit drinking. But I don't really feel the need because I'll maybe, we did a walk today, we stopped at a pub. I had half a pint of some local ale, which didn't taste very nice. I only really wanted to use the gents. I felt like I had to buy something. I think naturally I've just lost my taste for booze of any kind.
Yeah, that's interesting. I think that's probably common. It's not really a natural food. It's
no, definitely not.
It's just a drug. Let's be honest.
Yeah, definitely. I always like the kind of I know there's this kind of English mythology about a beer giving strength or giving some kind of nourishment. I don't think it's very true.
That's funny. All right, man. Well, let's see. Is there anything we've missed? Let's see. I think we've pretty much covered it. I guess we could have gone a little more into you mentioned with your mom and eating meat and you're being vegan. One of the things I find frustrating about this is you see how many people are suffering from illnesses kind of needlessly. And then when it's your own relatives, you have a relative who gets a heart attack or a stroke. I mean, a stroke is serious shit. I mean, you are screwed if you have a heavy duty stroke.
Mm-hmm.
So it's like, do you ever get frustrated that you know how healthy this is for people and then you see them needlessly suffering?
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, I think I lost both my granddads to Alzheimer's disease, and I know lately there's been I've watched a few talks on the link between meat, between the inflammatory effects of animal protein and Alzheimer's disease.
Very interesting. Very interesting.
Yeah, my grandma had a heart attack. Yes, yeah, it does frustrate me. My dad's suffering with arthritis at the moment, and I think maybe it's that does it does bother me. I'm not sure what to do. My family are very resistant, and because I've always lived my life on the kind of the outskirts of what is acceptable behavior to them. They've become accustomed to not taking me very seriously.
Oh, I can so relate, my friend. I can so relate.
Yeah.
It can be sometimes a bit lonely.
Yeah, absolutely.
But I tell you what, I'll end this on a happier note because what I feel is it seems like we're kind of growing in numbers and we may be getting closer to a critical mass. What do you think? It seems like it's kind of creeping up in consciousness a little bit.
I think it is. I think people now know. People are now aware of what we're about. I think most people are kind of edging. I know people talk with derision about this whole baby steps thing, But people are making baby steps at least, and hopefully it'll be more of a snowball effect. I mean, I think I started with baby steps. Yeah, I think there is an awareness in consciousness, and we have a society we've at least moved beyond these kind of Victorian attitudes. Most people recognise that animals are at least a bit different to plants. They have feelings, they have some kind of sentience. We're at least we're moving in the right direction. Some days I'm more optimistic than others, but yeah, I try to be positive about this. All right.
Well, James, it's such a pleasure. I'm so glad I got to connect with you. And
no, the pleasure's mine.
Well, you know, it's great when, because of what we were just talking about. It's so nice to know that there are other folks who think the same way, and it's great that we kind of have this global community. It's so cool. I can talk to you in England right now. It's it's so great that we have this technology. So thanks, and give my best to Lily. And
I will.
And I was serious. I understand you guys are coming to the States in December, so you let me know when you're coming, and if you guys have some time, you come and join us up in the mountains for a little bit.
That would be awesome. That would be amazing.
Love to have you, man.
Yeah, wicked. I'll try my best. We'll see what we can do.
All right, my friend. All right.
Thanks a lot.
Take care, kids. Good luck with the channel.
Cheers. Thank you very much for your encouragement.
All right. See you, man.
Cheers. Bye.